Okay, everybody, welcome. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what's going on in the world of school. So, I am back in the studio. I apologize. It's been a while since we've chatted. My legions of fans, of course, have been clamoring as they do for more content. So, here we go. Schools opened officially, and in the corona era where we reside, we have a bizarre situation where we are all digital until technically Friday, October 2nd, meaning that all students are home. They log on to Zoom, they access their assignments through a program called Schoology, and it's 100% digital. Now, the weird part, of course, is I go into the building, I go into work to work digitally once or twice a week because Southern Westchester, I'm at Mount Vernon High School, doesn't have the bandwidth to support everybody, every teacher, every staff member coming in and working remotely. So we can't all go in on the same day. Remember, we're public school teachers in New York, so we make good money. We are well paid, and we have great benefits, and we have a spectacular schedule, and people justifiably are like, well, wait a minute. Are you telling me that students are home and teachers are at home too getting paid? And so it's not really very politically expedient for the superintendent to tell parents that the teachers are at home making full salary, and they don't have to go to work. They don't have to quote unquote go to work. And to a very real degree, the parents are right, because many of the parents have to go to work, those of that work, and they can't stay home and work remotely. And so they're wondering why where their children's teachers can stay home and work remotely. And so you have this weird instance where you have teachers saying, oh, I work just as hard at home as I do when I'm in the building. So there's this weird thing where the parents want to see the teachers go into the building and work digitally because they're paying the teachers' salaries. And so, teachers are like, well, I work as hard as I do at home or harder than I do in the building because I have good internet access and I can get to Zoom and Schoology and all the digital stuff without any problem. And so, in this case, everybody is right. So, teachers shouldn't get paid to stay home and go on their laptop at the rates we make. That's criminal. There's no way that should be the case. And administration and parents are like, well, teachers should come into work like regular people. And they're right too. We should get up, go to work. The problem is there's no students in the building. So it's just this total craziness. And the weird X factor in my situation is that the school district I'm in and the surrounding school districts lack the bandwidth for all of the staff to come in all at the same time, and everybody go to Schoology and Zoom at the same time. There's just not enough internet tube for everybody's ones and zeros to go up and down, and get the job done. So we're in kind of bizarro world. There's another level of bizarro world that I've mentioned before, and that is the fact that between 1 and 11 people in the state of New York, and when you're talking about 19.45 million people, the numbers 1 and 11 mathematically are the same number. There's no difference between 1 and 11 when you're talking about 19.45 million. And so guess what? Those are the number of people who die per day of COVID-19 under the new definition. Coronavirus Tracking Project is spectacular because they're very upfront. And so those of you that have opinions on coronavirus and the level of deadliness Unless you're going to Corona Tracking Project, you really don't have an opinion. If you're listening to the bozos on MSNBC or CNN, or you read a corrupt outfit like the New York Times for your coronavirus info, and that's your opinion, you don't have an opinion. You're way off. All of the mainstream press, the corporate press, all they're doing is what they always do. They're scaremongering you so that you're afraid, and that's what they've done. This is the sociological aspect of where I am as a public school teacher in 2020, where the corporate press has scared everybody to death on everything. And so now, like the parents in the district where I work, they're afraid to send their children to the school building. Now, I sit at my desk all day and I log on and go into the school software, and I go to Zoom and I do my thing, and I don't wear a mask in my room. Why would I? 2 people yesterday died with the coronavirus in New York State. Am I really supposed to be nervous about that? Are you mathematically illiterate that I'm going to be 2? Oh, well, it's contagious and it could be worse. Well, you know what you have to do? You have to show me proof that I should be nervous, that I should have any issue. And you know what? If 14-year-olds were in my room, if 25, 14-year-olds, I wouldn't be nervous then either. How many people under the age of 50 in the country have died of coronavirus? You don't know the number. You're scared because you've been told you're scared. You have no idea. You don't know what you need to do. And remember, this is really for teenagers. This is how we go about it in teenager English class at the high. How many people in the United States under the age of 50 have died of coronavirus? Now do under the age of 18. That's my population. Should I be scared? Should I be nervous? What do the numbers say? You're not following the science. That's the trope, right? That's what we hear. Oh, I'm just not hearing the science. No one is talking about the science. Well, you know who you sound like? You sound like the people in the megachurch in Tempe, Arizona, who tell me I should follow Jesus. Now, I happen to follow Jesus. I just finished reading the book of Matthew. Very, very interesting. Not at all what I expected, let me tell you. But I hear people telling me I should follow the science. I see corporate media telling me, well, follow the science. All right. Well, when I look at the science, the aspect of the end game, there's a lot of truth to this pandemic, con-rona, scamdemic stuff. Because how many people are in the hospital, right? I'm going to leave you with this because I just needed to give you an update as to what's going on in the school world where I am in late September 2020. The things to look at, the way this is going, and the reason why the scamdemic, con-rona people, why they have a case, is because when you quote-unquote follow the science, or you do what I do, go to COVID Tracking Project. It's the Atlantic uses it. Atlantic is one of these standard bearers of progressive thought and has done probably top 10 outfits to ruin what was once a proud and free United States. The Atlantic Monthly, now the Atlantic. Lewis Lapham, that's on the list. So what you need to do is take a look at the things that you think you believe. If you're afraid of dying of the coronavirus, you should ask yourself why. Why? And then you should ask yourself, in what era did people not leave their house, and did the government shut them down and the local businesses down because they might get sick? Okay? I mean, these are the things that you need to wonder about if you're going to, as the United States fractures and breaks apart, which section, which faction are you going to be a part of? Which way are you going to go? And so I'm with the think for yourself people, you should have risk. Think about it this way. At what point in world history did people say you should shut yourself down, shut your businesses down until there is no risk? That's what they're saying. When there's no risk, then you can live your life. When did that happen? When did we say we're going to destroy lives? What about right? Yeah, and I mean that. What about the guy who washes dishes at at the local restaurant? What about the lady who babysits? Now she doesn't have a job because mom is home. She was sent home. So those babysitters, they don't have jobs. What does she do? Right? She came here from Honduras. She's been doing nothing but childcare. Now she doesn't work. What's she going to do? So those are the lives that are getting destroyed while you're yelling at people for not wearing a mask because 2 people in a state of 19.45 million died yesterday with the coronavirus, according to the latest definition from late June of the WHO. So I'm gonna end with what I've told you for a long time. And it's even more true now. And that is you need to find a group of people in a geographical location. And you pick. I live in New York City, right? The cities are crumbling. I'm not confident about the future of New York City. That being said, you find a group of, which I have, of like-minded people who you can rely on, and you're good friends. I've always said gold, guns, and a getaway plan, but what I should also add to that is good neighbors and good friends. And maybe God-fearing. I don't know, maybe the spirituality aspect is going to play a bigger role. It very well might, from what I see going on. So all of these things are swirling through my head while I sit at work and teach remotely. Now, tomorrow and Wednesday I teach remotely, and Thursday I go back to work to teach remotely. And that's where we are. Okay, this is Doug Marola, the freelance teacher. I will talk to you in a couple of days. Take care.